Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about, yet again, Activision Blizzard, because more and more news keeps coming out about this, more and more articles are being posted. I try to keep up to date with all the news, and I try to relay that to you guys here in my videos. Man, Activision Blizzard is getting just like thrown over the coals right now, because as we know, they did end up losing a lot of their players, and people are blaming the two flagship aspects of Activision Blizzard, at least in the first-person shooter market. Obviously, Activision Blizzard is more than just Call of Duty and Overwatch 2, but when Activision is losing 13 million players compared to last quarter, and Blizzard is losing 18 million players compared to last quarter, it's hard not to blame their two flagship FPSs out there. It just kind of really makes sense, and I think it goes to show that they're finally starting to see the negatives of things that you and I, like us in the comments and all that, us on Reddit and Twitter and whatnot, we've been talking about this forever. They're pushing out these games, they're releasing with less content than before, there's less updates, there's no progression in the game aside from just like wanting to buy things from the shop, I suppose. There's not really a whole lot. Like, Call of Duty sort of lost its soul compared to even just like 5 years ago. If you go back to a game like Call of Duty World War II, which had constant updates and the social space of the headquarters and all the free DLC weapons you could get just by playing the game, and like there's so much to that game compared to something like we have now with Modern Warfare 2, and you would think every single year as Call of Duty continues to grow that it would get better as they start making more and more money. In fact, that brings up this news article I read here just today. It's from IGN, where the CMA, the United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority, recently they blocked the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Well, in that article there, they actually report just how expensive video games have become. They're expected to have a $200 million budget. Call of Duty has already surpassed $300 million in development costs alone. The next Grand Theft Auto is likely going to have a budget of $250 million. And apparently in here, they did not actually name who this was or anything like that, but it says right here in the article, when considering marketing costs, the number can jump to over $1 billion, with one large studio reporting that a major franchise's development costs $666 million and marketing costs is $550 million. We're talking over $1 billion, and I'm not gonna lie, they were not named here, but that definitely sounds like the COD franchise. I mean, they're making like golden chains for Cardi B and shit as part of marketing because somehow that's supposed to translate into more people buying the game. I don't know, but I can definitely see them when they're talking about $660 million just to develop one COD title. I can see that happening, but the question is, why is it that nowadays $666 million gets us a product like Modern Warfare 2, 3 years, 3,000 devs? Like, you guys all know the memes. Like, it's very evident with the player count dropping across all of Activision Blizzard that they as a company are just royally screwing up. And I've seen the theories, I kind of want to cover that in this video here today, where a lot of you are suggesting that they're intentionally tanking the game so that they drop their stock down and they can actually get like a better deal, I suppose, with Microsoft. Like, that's kind of like the idea. Microsoft can come in, get a much cheaper deal, and then they can take over, then their stock will go back up. And like, it's definitely very tinfoil hat territory. But when you look at the COD franchise, you look at Overwatch 2, like you look at anything that's happening in Activision Blizzard, it boggles the mind, like how they can continuously just keep messing this up somehow. They're really fumbling with two of the biggest brands in gaming, Activision and Blizzard. Between them, they own so many iconic games and brands and IPs, and they just continue to mess this up in one way or another, to the point where Blizzard has lost literally half their player base compared to last year. Like, not even kidding, like from December to March, like they lost half their players. That is absurd. And then Call of Duty, while yes, Call of Duty did not have like a massive drop off in terms of player numbers, they still lost like what, 12 million players, something like that. Like, it's very clear that Warzone 2 is not going to be the saving grace for Activision. They can't just like put the franchise on autopilot like they did with Warzone 1 and just have people continuously playing that and funneling money into it via the shop. It seems like now fans are over it. It's just from my perspective. I'd love to hear what you guys think down there in the comments, but it seems like fans are over how they're being treated by Activision Blizzard, and they're just moving on to play other things. And as a result, Activision Blizzard is losing a ton of money. They're losing a ton of players. They are making a ton of money still in microtransactions, which boggles my mind. You know, I always say that I wish people would stop buying microtransactions. Like, if you don't buy the game, like, it's a really tricky thing, right? If you don't buy the game, then, and you want to play it, obviously, don't don't just buy it because you feel like you have to. Like, if you want to buy the game to play the game, that's fine, you know, but some people will boycott different kinds of games and stuff like that. But in reality, it's a really shitty situation. In fact, I'm gonna take this excerpt here from Shoddycast. I hope I don't get copyright claim or anything like that, because I could not have said this better myself. It is just too perfect.
The revelations provided by journalists bring out an unsettling problem. Who deserves our support? By purchasing and playing Fallout 76, you directly reward the higher-ups at Bethesda for their shoddy goddamn handling of the game's development cycle. And in turn, that does incentivize them to do the same thing all over again. However, if you refuse to purchase the game to try and vote with your wallet, all of the people that worked so hard for this game to make it what it is today, some of which burned their candles out by doing so, they are the ones who will ultimately suffer. But if you purchase the game after they've been mistreated so badly, it again encourages the next release to follow with the same pattern, and it's just this horrible loop. Capitalism is the worst, guys!
Do you guys see what he means right there? Like, it's ridiculously difficult, like, in the games industry now. Like, you want to support a game, but you don't want to support the shitty decisions made by the higher-ups, but you also want to support, like, the little guys that are literally just, you know, trying to get a paycheck, like, feed their families, like, pay their bills and stuff like that. Like, you want to support them, but you don't want to support the higher-ups. But if you do support them, then you're kind of encouraging the higher-ups to, you know, bully down on the people that are actually making the game. Like, I'm so tired of, like, the politics behind games, man. Like, I miss, like, back in the day, you just booted up COD 4, you played it, you had fun, and then you went to bed. Like, those were the good old days. But now there's always, like, so much drama and so much nonsense going on within the games industry, and I can't wait for it to end. And right now, it seems like Activision Blizzard is kind of, they're reaping what they sowed, essentially, right? They're finally, like, getting their comeuppance, I suppose, for years and years of bad decisions. And I'm very interested to see where that's going to take us in the future. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I just want to make this video here today covering a couple of news articles. Apparently, the next COD, probably not COD 2023, to be honest, but Black Ops 5, that could be like a $1 billion game. I know they make $1 billion, but I don't know if they've ever spent $1 billion to put the game together. And then, of course, you know, Activision Blizzard lost half their player base. Call of Duty lost, like, what, 12, 14 million people, something on top of that. So it's not looking good. It's definitely not looking good. And as always, I will keep you guys posted as this story develops and as we learn more. But for right now, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.